Hey everybody, Ben here for the Better Podcast, and we got a bit of an unbox and review. This is not Blood Bowl, this is something I've picked up. So as you guys will know, I'm on a bit of a retro crusade at the moment, and I'm kind of a little bit hobby everywhere. And one of the things that I've been a little bit excited by was Mordheim. So for my birthday, I picked up a Cobblestone battle mat from Deep Cut Studios. Now, I've not opened it, and I went for the fabric one instead of the neoprene, instead of PVC, because I thought it's the one that's probably going to look best on camera. And I thought, well, if you guys are out there looking for a battle mat and you are thinking about Deep Cut Studios, because these are not cheap. Like, the fabric ones are much cheaper than the neoprene. Shipping's not cheap, and God, if you go with Wayland Games or something like that, postage for that stuff is like £35. Now, I would normally go for Entoyment, but Entoyment didn't have any of it in stock, and I wanted Cobblestone because I thought it'd be useful to play the Old World or Mordheim on. So I figured, I haven't opened it yet, we'd have a little record and we'd have a look and see if it's good. Alright, so I have yet to open this. So this is Deep Cut Studio. This is a 6x4 cobblestone gaming mat. Now the studio is a bit of a mess at the moment because we've just finished up, literally yesterday, finished up the championship. Now this is a 6x4, and I thought I'm never going to need 6x4. In the past, I have picked up 4x4 gaming mats. In fact, I think this one's Trips's, and if, again, you excuse the mess, we've got a pile of stuff here. I've got a couple of 4x4s, and 4x4s are okay, but you may, in fact, want a 6x4 in the long run. All right, so this is a fabric mat. This is cobblestone, and I'm intrigued to see a couple of things. So I've had fabric mats before, and the creases have been a bit of a problem. So I wanted to see, first of all, it came in a jiffy bag, so that explains why postage wasn't quite as much. Now we'll move some models over here, because what we'll do is we'll unfold it and then we'll chuck some models on it and see how good it looks with a bit of debris and a bit of terrain on it. And obviously we've got the studio lights, so it's going to look a bit funny because I like the coloured stuff. Okay, we've got a little bit of a grate there. That's probably going to be okay. Right, tell you what, this is hard to do with one hand, so let's put this down for a sec. Feel like one of those life vloggers who are like making their beds and talking about their shopping trips to B&M. All right, so I'm not going to unfold it the whole way out. That's going to be the 3x4 version. Yeah, we're going to have to do something about these creases. I believe you can iron them, which I'm hoping is going to be all right. Can we iron them? Maybe iron them, or just leave them flat? I mean, we've got a couple of 6x4s on here, so actually if we just leave it out under the mat or something like that, it'll probably decrease itself anyway, which is all right. Now for the test, let's put this. Am I too worried about the creases? I'm not too worried about the creases. We got a bit of terrain here, so let's do 2 buildings because that's kind of the fun bit. And we'll chuck on some barricades that I've printed for Trench Crusade style stuff. Probably not going to do any Trench Crusade, but Dak Naka are doing some trenches, and I think they're pretty cool. And it's just such a tempting thing. I've got a real thing for 3D terrain at the moment. I think that's the only downside of Blood Bowl. Like, I love Blood Bowl with the entirety of my soul, but having a lack of terrain, even though we are, in fact, building the stadium at the moment, you know, the lack of terrain is the only downside. Okay, does this look all right? Does this look a bit rubbish? I mean, there's a lot of terrain, it'll probably be okay. I'm not sold. Maybe if you go the overhead, once the creases are gone, it might be all right. But I don't know. Yeah, let's get some dudes on there doing some dude things. Yeah, I think we're gonna have to boot up the overhead and the side cameras and have a look at those. Let's do this so we can kind of see a little bit. So Trips has been amazing and printed these excellent roads, which I think are going to be perfect for stuff like Mordheim and whatnot. And I've obviously hurriedly painted them because that is how I do things. Tell you what, let's go to the overhead and see if we can't get my bold spots, I'm sure, just to make Ian Warhammer feel a bit better on camera. Let's do this. Let's chuck a bit down here. And let's play with a bit of terrain, which is quite fun. And like I said, one of the things I miss about wargaming, like, I do love Blood Bowl, and I'm very much looking forward to building the stadium, but there is just something about proper terrain that I just miss a bit. And this is the kind of thing that can get me really happy and excited about wargaming, is that look. I mean, Matt from Mini Wargaming talks about it all the time. He's like, this is like terrain, and the look and the feel of a game is really important. And one of the cool things about the channel is we got a chance to do some cool stuff. Let's bounce over to this camera and have a little zippy do. All right, got some buildings. How's it looking? Is it looking a bit better? Yeah. It's still definitely got those folds. Well, I don't know, maybe it'll be all right. Let's chuck on a bit of 3D terrain. Let's get some more buildings up here. So this is, I'll tell you what, if we do a road setup like this, it's quite interesting. We'll get another building here. Do one of these. I'll tell you what, we'll split this in half. Do one here with a bit of the building. Kind of add a bit of extra debris, extra kind of terrain to run around and cause problems in. I don't know if I'm using the right pieces of these buildings, but I don't think it hugely matters. Let's just chuck some other bits here. Platform, have another platform. Got a bridge here. The bridge can go across these two pieces because you need a bit of bridge work in a Mordheim sort of game. All right, how's it looking? How's the overhead shot looking? Let's go 2. Let's go down. We've got a bit of lens flare there. That's very J.J. Abrams. Like that. Okay. Yeah, that looks all right, actually. That's the wrong button. Good job, Ben. Ooh. My arm. That looks tasty, but I guess that's probably because we've got the the gloomy lights, and now we're going to absolutely zhuzh this up with some debris. So we've got some scene setting rocks that Ben was talking about when we did the live stream last night. There you go. This is what we need. This is hopefully going to be the kind of thing that allows us to kind of blend it in and just have it look a little bit more. Going to need a lot of rocks actually, aren't I? As this goes. Fortunately, I brought like a kilo bag. So as we kind of look at filming other games and stuff, that's probably enough. I didn't realise that I still actually need a ton of terrain. I thought this would do it, but I guess not. Although I do have some more buildings. Do you know what? This video's gone a bit awry already. Let's open the other cabinet and then bust out our giant buildings. Here we go. That can be this side of the street then. We've got some big chunky buildings. They're a bit tacky actually. I assume I didn't wash them very well. It's the problem with 3D printing terrain, especially resin terrain, is if you don't clean it up right good, you're going to have all sorts of problems. But we want to kind of have a Mordheimy vibe. So let's take you, let's chuck you there. Let's take you, chuck you there. Bit of a building there. Have we got any more buildings? We've got any more buildings? 1, 2, 3. Let's do this one here because that could be quite cool. We got some corner pieces I think are going to be very useful, kind of chucking in to balance out where buildings are. So another bit of that. I'll tell you what, let's put ruins on the top here and assume that kind of was a building that is no more. And then I got one more corner piece that needs to be going somewhere. Let's do this. Let's make this a big ruin. And then of course let's go to the overhead. Let's zhuzh up this stuff, because this is, maybe that's not actually dark enough. I've got some other bits. Ugh. Some other bits here, which are like black cubes that might help differentiate a little bit more. I don't know. And then of course, got a load more barricades. Let's put some down on the roads, near the roads. You can go one there. You can have one up there, actually on the road as well. Maybe I've got too many barricades, but I don't know. From playing skirmish games, you need kind of a little bit of extra protection when it comes to barricades and stuff. So I'm just going to chuck everything on the board here. You got a barricade there, and then this kind of looks like a World War II town scene from like Band of Brothers now. God, I've got so many barricades. You can have a barricade. You have a barricade. You have a barricade. All right, and now, okay, let's play with the cameras. This camera is overhead, so let's go zoom around. Now this is not placed properly at the moment because this camera here needs to be back here. But as we kind of start looking at the overhead shots and my cable placement over there, all right, that looks quite cool. I think that looks quite cool. Zoom in. I don't really have any fantasy models to use yet. I say it looks quite cool. The ground looks very cluttered to the point where I don't know if we're going to have potentially problems identifying. Like, is it too noisy? I think is the question I'm asking. It might be a little bit too noisy, but I don't know. That's kind of what we're working with. Let's go to the side camera. That, however, that looks all right. Let's play with the lighting a little. Let's add some. Let's make it white light so we get a bit more. No, orange. We want a bit flame. There you go. That's quite cool. I think we can make that work. The ground does look very noisy. But maybe I'm overthinking it. I don't know. What do you guys think? This is kind of new territory. Obviously, we've got a lot of terrain here. It's a 3x4 area, so it's, you know, a bit crowded, a bit not crowded. I am worried about being able to see the models. We have a model in the center. Let's have a look, see if we can see the model in the center. Not on this camera. Can we see it on this camera? We can see it on this camera. So let's zoom in. This would be kind of how we're shooting. Like, you zoom in and you do whatever you want to do. Switch over to this camera. There we go. Can we get that in focus? There we go. All right. So this would be, we could potentially go overhead cam. And then we got battle action cam here. Oh, is it on flower mode? No, I don't want flower mode. I want flower mode off. But I mean, you've got your little men's, and they're doing things up here. We can maybe get some cool shots. I don't know. Maybe it'll work. Maybe it'll work, but I don't know. I've had fun putting it together. This, I mean, it is very noisy because it is cobblestones. The fabric's all right. That is one thing we can definitely say, is that the fabric, it doesn't look too fabricy. Now it's down, potentially. I actually think that works quite nicely. Like, I don't think that's too much of a problem. It doesn't look too fabricy. Just about whether the pattern itself is a bit loud. So I would say fabric good, pattern loud. Potentially my fault there buying that one. Okay, so I played with terrain. That was fun. Could have been a boring video, but I mean, it's wargaming. It's always fun, right? But the material is decent. Oh, he falls over. Deep Cut Studios, I mean, it's good for value. I'm actually really happy with it. It's what I bought. It's what I got. Postage was very quick. Postage was cheap. The pattern is my concern. The product is not. So yeah, take that what you will. If you're in the market for something like Deep Cut Studios, then actually, I think even the fabric one is going to be good to go. You've seen it on all the different cameras we've got. It does look pretty cool. It does look pretty cool. Anyway, I'm going to wrap up. We'll be back soon with more wargaming content. Happy blocking.